The Magpies are building up all-important momentum before the 2025 finals begin, winning 8 of their past 9 games and sitting pretty in second spot on the ladder. Not working? The Magpies building up all-important momentum before the 2025 finals begin, winning 8 of their past 9 games and sitting pretty in second spot on the ladder, while the Bombers are fighting to get off the bottom of the table. Welcome to Hamley Bridge Oval for the APFL Match of the Round, proudly presented by Filming Footy. My name's Lewis McKenna and joining me is Dino on the camera as well. These two sides ready to go at it. They're actually so eager that they're about 7 minutes early before game time, but they're going to get stuck straight in. Of course, second spot on the ladder, Mallala, firming as one of the form sides here at the moment, of course excluding the mighty Two Wells Roosters, who are yet to lose a game so far this year, as they'll ball it back up once again right in the middle of the ground. As I just mentioned, they have got incredible momentum. 8 of their last 9, only losing to Two Wells. That only loss by 2 goals a few weeks ago, as Fairley takes the mark on the outer side for Hamley Bridge. They look to go inside 50, first entry for either side. A little bit of holding coming from both players. Out the back of the contest, they get a snap-on goal to get us underway. Can't quite put it through. So through for a minor score off the boot of Henry McCabe. Couldn't quite kick his 9th goal for the season. So minor score to get us underway for Hamley Bridge on the Sportal scoreboard. Pretty nice day here. A little overcast. Some greyish clouds hovering about, but not too much rain predicted here at Hamley Bridge Oval. So Mallala look to move it out of their back line. Pretty good nick oval as well here at Hamley Bridge. There's a good marks taken. No surprise from Jordan Clements. So long ball up to centre wing, over the back and through hands, comes out the back of the contest, and picking it up is Hudson, but he's quickly set upon, and looks like there's going to be called for holding the ball. So Mallala, little chip kick over the top, and it's a interesting one. Couldn't quite take the mark there in the end was Nauman. Just has to hand it back and pop it onto his boot, but sitting underneath it and taking a good mark was Manuel. Goes all the way across the ground, and they look to get to work quickly. Taylor, little chip kick over the top. Marked by Delina. Plays on quickly. Good pick-up on his bootlaces there. I believe that was Fairley once again, just moving it back through hand. A little handball over the top there. And that's going to trickle over the boundary line. So, should be a free kick to Mallala, and is. Of course, it was last touched. So, Clements now on the outer side. Umpire still having a word to him, just needed to get all the way over the boundary. Chips one over the top, and McMaw leading up at the footy. Turns around quickly and goes inside forward 50, looking for Tippets, but taking the mark. Brilliant work by Skeet Manuel. Just sitting underneath the good courage. So Hamley looking solid here to start. Shakes Tippett out of his boots. Goes into the corridor, and it's a good kick. Well weighted over the top to Zach McCabe. Goes inside forward 50 to a one-on-one. Nearly taken the mark, falling to the front of the contest. Ball still in dispute here as they build up the numbers, snapping around the body towards goal. Is it going to get the full distance? It bounces backwards. Couldn't quite get its way over the goal line. They were going to let it go through. Still here, Judd just gets a little fist on it. Close to the boundary line here. It's amazing that this hasn't gone over. And eventually wrapped up in a tackle. So Ash Parsons nearly converting on the first goal of the game. So balled up right here, deep in the pocket. Palm down, little handball over the top, and Mallala look to clear out of the defensive 50. Have to get the handball off, and they do well. Move it off to Heaslip now. Retreating, but smothered. McCabe picking it up. Just a little dribbling ball. Nearly picked up by another McCabe there underneath. McMahon now for Mallala. Intercepted by Shahinger. So picking it up is Ed McCabe. Comes through hands. Good pick-up in the contest. Going inside forward 50, and it's going to trickle through for another minor score. So 2 behinds on the Sportal scoreboard here. Hamley Bridge with a very narrow lead, but good work here from Mallala to retreat quickly and move it off through hands. And looking for Trevor, they go a little longer to Atkins. So Tim Atkins, a long ball up towards the paint of 50. 2-on-1 here for Hamley Bridge. Picked up there underneath by Hudson, but quickly wrapped up in a tackle. So rucks to go at it. Neither ruckman getting too much of an advantage there. Just out the back of the contest, and Manuel, a little chiselling ball out of defensive 50, picked up well, and just before he got tackled was able to get the kick away out the back and fairly runs onto it from the paint of 50. Goes up towards goal. As he got the distance, he doesn't. Still a 1-on-1 contest here deep in the pocket. Gets the handball out. Little chipping ball over the top, but well intercepted here from Mallala. Olds just pumps the ball over the top. Clements running onto it. Couldn't quite pick it up, but recovers now on the second attempt. Good tackle there. Well done by the captain in Judd. Angus Judd, the league rep, showing why he's so valuable. Just quickly goes inside forward 50, but sitting underneath it was Olds. In fact, actually, that wasn't Olds. So Trevor, though. So now chips off a 45-degree ball just over the outstretched hands of Olds. Now inside. Manuel looks to get to work. Handballs it to himself cleverly. Out the back of the contest now, and looks to switch across the other side, but intercepted. So the Magpies, another opportunity. Maybe just went the distance to Heaslip. The vice-captain inside forward 50, over the back. Good mark taken by Algar. Just given a little bit too much space, and the first set shot opportunity of this game for either side. So a little bit of an angle here. As I mentioned before, a little bit of cloud cover, but no real breeze to speak of. Only has to kick this about 30 metres or so. Has 6 goals on the season. So distance shouldn't be a problem at all. On his right boot. And just sprays it out to the right-hand side, through for a minor score. Here's Algar. And the first score here for Mallala. Either team yet to get a goal. So 2-1. So Hamley Bridge lead by 1, but they get another opportunity here. Looking for Clements inside, taking the mark. Made him work for it a little bit there, Tippett, but it was a good kick in the end. And this is a much easier opportunity here, right in front. Marked it about 20 metres out. Only has to kick it about 25. Been one of the best players, not just for Mallala all season, but across the whole league. Named in the best 11 times, 10 goals as well. So contributes on the scoreboard, and he does here this afternoon to get us underway. His first goal of the afternoon on the Sportal scoreboard. They now lead by 4, Mallala, their first lead of the contest. So 2-6 on the Sportal scoreboard here for the APFL game of the round. We thank you for joining us, of course. Mallala, in fact, Hamley Bridge, the interesting side. I've got to only call them once so far this year, and it was here at Hamley Bridge against Balaclava earlier in the season. And, in fact, yes, it is actually 7-2. I should correct myself. So 7-2 on the Sportal scoreboard as we're back in the middle. But Hamley Bridge, they competitive side, even though they're on the bottom of the ladder, their percentage is actually quite healthy, around 46%, as Trevor now moves it by hand. They go through the middle of the ground, back inside forward 50, looking for Algar. And he's given away the free kick. Just a little bit of pushing off the ball, so Hudson receives the free. So over the top, close to the boundary, and not quite taking the mark there with Shahinger. So over the boundary off hands. So to hurl it back in, the rucks go at it. Olds just takes it straight out of the ruck and snaps it, but it looks like it's going to carry the boundary and does. So a rare mistake there for Cale Olds. Of course, a league representative, but the lone central representative in the country champs a few weeks back for the league. Anyone who's a fan of the APFL will know exactly the sort of player he is. So they send a long ball over the top. Olds climbing over, couldn't quite take the mark. Now at the feet, trying to pick it up was Eckerman, fairly running his way through, just bumps a teammate on his way. Just trundles the ball into the middle of the ground. Manuel picks it up and they move it by hand. McCabe not able to take it. And now they move it through Mallala over to McMahon. He's able to take a bounce, streaming towards forward 50 from about 55 metres out. Has he got it all the way? He has. Brilliant goal from McMahon. And the second goal of the afternoon, back-to-back for Mallala. They now move to an 11-point advantage. 13, so 2-1-13 to 2 solitary behinds. And Liam McMahon on the board. 10 minutes gone in this one. It was a bit of an arm wrestle through the first few minutes to start. But a brilliant goal put through there. Handy goal kicker, he's proven that. Hasn't played in every game this season. Kicked 8 goals on the season coming into this one, so he's 9th there. Shahinger knocks it down in the ruck, but taken away. And they're able to go back inside forward 50. Once again to the leading Algar. Brilliant work out of the guts there from Mallala. And they get another set shot opportunity. About the same distance that Algar had it from before. Just the opposite side of the ground. So walks back to about the corner of the square. He'll have to kick it about 30 to 35 metres. So I mentioned a moment ago that Algar, 6 goals on the season. On his way in, he's pulled it across the other direction this time. So he's second behind Algar. So through for a minor score. 2 solitary behinds for the Bombers. 2-2-14 for Mallala on the Sportal scoreboard. As they chip the ball around their back line. Shahinger not able to take the mark, so ball's back in dispute here near the boundary and eventually going over. So umpire to hurl it back in about 60 metres around from Mallala's goal. Shahinger knocks it down in front. And they quickly get to work now. Ethan Kane did well to move it by hand. Judd now into the corridor, well collected with one hand. Just a trickling ball out the back of the contest. They keep it moving fairly. Little trickling ball over the top, but sitting in the pack and taking the mark there was Hamish Wildboar, the Samford under-16 player for Woodville West Torrens. Just puts a ball out into space and allows Tiller to run onto it. That's Jake, and eventually shoved over the line. So Hamish Wildboar, yeah, he's a 16-year-old that got to make his A-grade debut this year. So knocked down in front, McCabe. That's Ed McCabe. Maybe just got a shoelace onto it. They're able to move it out through hand. Over to Judd, and extra little handball across to Shahinger, who's able to trundle the ball inside forward 50, but Mallala intercept. So they go back through into the middle of the ground now over to Tippett. Little handball off to King. Just pops the ball out into space and asks his teammate to run on it, and Charlie Baker, but he's beaten in the one-on-one contest, and well done there by Sam McCabe. Over the top and running back onto it there is Jack May. Brilliant defender is Jack May off half-back. And a good ball up towards forward 50. They go inside forward 50 now. Leading up at the footy is Cale Olds. Couldn't quite take the mark. Now Clements with a bit of space. So Mallala's 2 best just about around this footy. And a good kick just laterally. Brilliant work to Nauman. Just pops the ball up in front of McMahon, but just over the outstretched hands. Algar picks it up, snaps around on his left and puts it through. He's been busy, Algar. And that is his first goal. He's had a couple behinds to get him started. But Mallala converting on their 3rd goal. So now out to a 3-goal margin. So 3-2-20 on the Sportal scoreboard. Just the 2 solitary behinds for Hamley Bridge. They've had a fair few entries inside their forward 50, but not able to make the most of it. So his 7th goal of the year, Troy Algar, had a couple set shot opportunities early in this one, but if he's given that much space all afternoon, he could have a good day. So in the middle, Ruckman go at it once again, and Atkins eventually trickles it out of the middle. Heaslip tries to get the handball off and picked up once again. Just a trundling ball and a good mark taken defensively by Hudson. Clears his defensive 50 and Eckerman just fists it over the line. So Mallala just about halving every contest, if not winning them at the moment. Just really gained their composure quickly in this one. Knocked down in front well, and Heaslip's got a bit of room to go. Inside forward 50 once again. Old sitting underneath this one. Couldn't quite take the mark. They move it back through hand, but quickly wrapped up in a tackle is Callum Robinson. So you'll see there's another little 25-metre arc here at Hamley Bridge. It really helps with distances, which is handy. So ball in dispute. Trevor picks it up and quickly collected. Maybe caught a little bit high. Eventually gets it out of the contest and picked up by Judd there underneath. Trevor just fists a little ball out. Little handball out to Heaslip. Over the top, wild ball now around this one. Maybe taken down without it, but trickles over the boundary just off hands of Skeet Manuel. So to be hurled in 45 metres out from Mallala's goal. Olds just fisted another 5 metres. Good collect there underneath. Snapping around his body was Nauman all the way across the face. But ball stays in here through McMahon. Able to compose himself over the top to King. 30 metres out. Have to kick it about 35. Not too much angle to speak of, Dale King. Just the 1 goal in season 2025, but plays a lot of his footy off the half-back, a little bit in the midfield as well. And this to make it a 4-goal game in the first quarter. King on his way in. Puts it through for a minor score, so just fades across. So 21 plays 2 now on the Sportal scoreboard. 16 minutes gone in this first quarter, so a bit of time to play out still. Hamley Bridge still looking for their first goal, and collected high there was Nick Taylor. They move it out wide. So over the top, trying to find the mark there was Angus Judd, and eventually over. So hurled in. Knocked down in front, and ball still in dispute here. McCabe around it. Eventually picked up in the contest. Back to McCabe. Little trundling handball underneath, and they get a chance to pump a ball inside forward 50. Just pushed as he kicked it. Ball still in dispute and quickly wrapped up in a tackle. Hamley Bridge. So 45 metres out from goal. Still looking for their first. Fairley will go up in the ruck, but knocked down well. Judd with a little bit of room just rolls around towards goal. That's a brilliant kick as he got it all the way. Got to look at the goal umpire, maybe just over the goalpost, through for a minor score. So the third behind here of the first quarter for Hamley Bridge. Kicked a goal in every single game this year, Angus Judd. No doubt he'll have another opportunity later in this one as Mallala clear. Couldn't quite take the mark, Clements. Judd now back around it. Moves the ball through hand. McCabe ripped down as he picked it up. Heaslip picks up the scraps. Trevor, and they move it through hand. Over the top, Nauman turns around back to Heaslip as they go inside forward 50, looking for Olds. Out the back, they've got the numbers here, Hamley Bridge, and they're able to clear. Manuel, but well intercepted there by Algar. Quickly tackled as well. Maybe had a little bit of prior there, but well done by Mallala to trap it inside their forward 50. So, tap down underneath. Nauman trying to get a boot on it, but Redden just pops his boot onto it, and watch the bounce. They're able to save it before it goes over the boundary line. In fact, actually, they're going to say that it is Mallala's free here. So, King. So, is he in his range here? He missed one from much closer a moment ago. As I mentioned before, Dale King, just the one goal of the season. There's a little bit of a gentle breeze blowing across the ground here at the moment. Shouldn't affect the kick too much. Sends it on its way, and brilliant kick. Just had to go a little further out to Dale King. And he converts for his second goal of the season, his first of the afternoon. Mallala extend their lead now out to 4 goals. 27 plays 3 on the Sportal scoreboard. 19 minutes gone in this one. A chance to thank our streaming partners as well that make today's stream possible. Dartfish, of course, and you're watching live and free on Filming Footy on YouTube. Sportal scoreboard as well. Classic Clashes, Filming Footy. Archie's, custom by ORTC, High Five E-Bikes, and Kimberley Accommodation Group. As Mallala extend the margin out. So Shahinger gets the tap down. A little trickling ball out towards in front of Wild Boar. Good pickup. Snaps it around his body inside, forward 50. Comes off hands, he slipped. Good kick in front of Algar. Neither player able to get the mark there. Just pumps a ball to the top of the square, turning around, snapping around his body was McMaw, but maybe just got smothered. So they are absolutely peppering the goals here at the moment, Mallala. So out to a 25-point margin now. Of course, that's game high. So Manuel from the goal line puts the ball over the top to Redden. Hamley Bridge just don't really have too many options. They can either go backwards with a switch or they can just bomb one up the line and just hope for the best. So Redden does exactly that. 50-metre ball to centre wing and eventually trickles over the boundary line. So boundary hurls it back in. Brilliant action, by the way. McCabe off the front of the pack, just sends it quickly down his end of the ground, but intercepted. So they just go laterally. Olds goes back the other direction, marked by Tiller. So Tiller now plays on into the middle of the ground. And kick over the top to King. Good kick there from Charlie Baker. So they like to just change direction here, Mallala, as they go back towards the corridor a little further. Nauman. And he sees Olds over the top in a lot of space. It's a high ball, so Hamley closed, but Olds is good enough to stay with it. Man on the mark, 55 out, a little too far. So it goes across to King. So from the paint of 50, he sends it on its way. And through for a minor score. King peppering the goals as well as Algar in this first quarter. 26-point margin here for Mallala. Had their opportunities to really put this game to bed early, and you could argue they've just about done that. Still plenty of time left in this one as Redden goes to the outer side, over the top and intercepted. That's not the kick they're after, but he slipped as quick as you like. Handball over the top to McMaw. Just fumbles the ball over towards the boundary, but good enough to get it on the second attempt. Handball over the top, and Hamley are able to retreat. Judd trying to pick it up, and very quickly out of defensive 50. Takes a bounce on the outer side. On the left peg, sees someone up ahead and likes it. Good kick to Ash Parsons. So now an opportunity for Hamley Bridge as Parsons just stabilised himself here a bit. Looks as if he's confident to go with it. Tucked up right against the boundary. We'll have to give it a red-hot crack. Really, the opportunities have dried up here in the first quarter for Hamley Bridge. You might as well give it a go. He's kicked 7 in the A grade this year. To go along with 14 goals in the reserves as well. Has the distance, no problem at all. Just puts it through for a minor score. So shouldn't have questioned his ability to make the distance. But Parsons, the 4th behind here for Hamley Bridge, so haven't made the most of their limited opportunities. As Mallala look to chip the ball out of their defensive 50. Kick over the top and marked by Whittlesey, league representative. Across to Olds. Long ball up the wing, looking for Clements. Couldn't quite take the mark in the end there, Clements. Knocks it to ground. Still with it though, Mallala. They quickly hack a ball up towards forward 50 again. Wait for the bounce over the top to Algar. Tries to get the hands off. Intercepted well by Hamley Bridge, and they've got the numbers here on the ball. Hudson just trickles the ball out the back of the contest. Still not out of trouble here completely. They just have to turn around and pop it on the boot. There is Kane. McCabe there underneath the contest, wrapped up quickly in a tackle. Of course, that was Ed McCabe, one of the three McCabes in this Hamley Bridge lineup. Olds over the top. McMahon in a little bit of space. Rolls into goal, but just through for a minor score yet again. So plenty of behinds in this game. And coming from a few players that are just peppering at the goals. So McMahon, one of those, as Mallala take a 26-point advantage in this one. So Manuel. So waiting for the options to present themselves. Decides to go a little longer, close to the boundary line, and couldn't quite take the mark. Over the header fairly, and Redden just through his hands. So right in front of the commentary truck here, it'll be hurled back in. So boundary umpire sporting the jeans. It's an interesting choice, but it is a pretty cold day here at Hamley Bridge. And quickly wrapped up is Judd. 55 metres from Mallala's goal. Shahinga gets the tap. Wild ball out the back of the contest. Good handball over the top to Olds. Extra little handball to Heaslip, maybe held without it. And underneath, Atkins gets wrapped up in a tackle. So, pulled up once again. And quickly wrapped up in a tackle is McCabe. Shahinga down in front. Trevor running onto it. Couldn't quite take clean possession as Hamley just kick a ball over the top. May picks it up and finds some space to bomb a long ball inside forward 50. The pack sitting underneath it falls to the front. Ball still in dispute here. Manuel did well. Tippets, though, hands it off to McMahon. Stabilises himself and puts through a goal. The fifth of the afternoon for Mallala. And again, one of those forwards that have just been so busy, even if they haven't converted on all their opportunities. McMahon yet again through for another goal. And out to a 32-point margin now. So 4 plays, 36 on the Sportal scoreboard. 27 minutes gone in this one, so expect that siren to go at any point. So Mallala have just been far more composed. They've found the right options inside their forward 50, and their forwards have done the work, scoring on just about every one of their opportunities inside forward 50. Is out the back, Clements just kicks a high ball up. Atkins sitting underneath it, couldn't quite take the mark, and it should be wrapped up in a tackle, but it gets out to Heaslip. Moves it by hand, and now Olds on the left boot. Over the top to Trevor, and he's able to take the mark before it goes over the boundary. Trevor rolls around onto the right foot. About 20 metres out now. McMahon sitting underneath it. Hudson quickly wrapped up in a tackle, loses the ball, and Redden picks it up and moves it out wide to Judd. Judd over the top and just marking it inside the boundary. As Hamley go long down the wing. In front there was Fairley. Couldn't quite rip it down. Quickly wrapping up in a tackle there is Tiller. And there's the siren to bring us to the end of the first quarter. It's been a dominant quarter here for Mallala. They're in incredible form here at the moment in the APFL. 5-6-36 to 4 straight behinds for Hamley Bridge. A brilliant first quarter action. 3 more quarters to come here on Filming Footy. My name's Lewis McKenna. Come right back for the second quarter. Welcome back to Hamley Bridge Oval here. Second quarter coming up, live and free on Filming Footy of the APFL match of the round here between Hamley Bridge and Mallala. And yeah, the scores, they pretty much paint a picture of what the first quarter was like. Hamley Bridge were competitive in the first few minutes of the game. We actually didn't see the first goal come until the 8-minute mark, and that was through Algar. But really, after that point, they just turned it on, and they're able to convert on all their opportunities. Algar, of course, converting on a goal. McMaw with a couple. Clements kicking a goal as well was really impressive. And Dale King, the other goal scorer, to make up the 5. Hamley Bridge yet to kick a goal in this game, but they gave themselves some opportunities going inside forward 50. Just couldn't convert. 4 solitary behinds. As the second quarter now underway as Ed McCabe balks around a couple. Handball over the top and off to another McCabe. Moving it through hands, and now Ethan Kane over the top. It's a good mark taken by Loeffler. So Loeffler now inside forward 50 for Hamley Bridge. Through the outstretched hands of Fairley and out the back, and Mallala easily retreat all the way across the other side to Trevor. Jesse Trevor long up the wing. Good mark taken by Clements. Really good kick there by Trevor. Over the top and nearly intercepted, but Nauman good enough to stay with it. Over the top and a good kick. Good mark by Algar. Really busy. Kicked 1 goal 2 in the first quarter. And this one on a very similar angle to what he had down the other end of the ground. Only about 30-degree angle. Distance shouldn't be too much of a problem. Has to kick it about 35. So Algar on his way in, pops it towards goal, and just fades across. In fact, actually doesn't register a score. So just marked on the goal line by Redden. Across, and I believe that's Hudson with the mark. Over the top, and couldn't quite pick it up fairly off his bootlaces. Eckerman moves it out through hands. King now wrapped up quickly in a tackle. So, once again, they go at it. Quickly thumped away out of the ruck here for Hamley Bridge. Judd picks it up very cleanly off the pack. Now Fairley with a little bit of space. Extra handball over the top. They look to retreat back in the contest to Judd, the captain, smothered by Trevor over the line. So even when they do have an opportunity to go inside forward 50, Mallala just hunting the extra little 1%ers as both ruckmen go tumbling to the ground. As Ed McCabe just jumps over the top of them. Judd a handball over, and Hamley now over the top. McCabe inside forward 50, balks around a couple, quickly set upon. Good tackle there by Eckerman, saving the day. Wasn't allowing Hamley Bridge to convert on their first goal. Ed McCabe tried to do it all himself, and he's a fantastic player. You don't blame him. But brilliant work by the big fella and Eckerman to put a stop to it. So they move it across through Slee. Over the top, and good mark to Josh May on the paint of 50. Across to King. Gets shoved to the ground. So King sees something he likes in the middle. It was a good kick to Clements. Now all the way over the outer side. I see Hennessy out there, but Trevor's also there. Trevor just stops and composes himself and sees something up forward, but Manuel off the boot and straight back to Clements. And laterally in the middle of the ground to King. Handball off to Eckerman, but well done to get the smother there was McCabe. Handball over the top. Hamley now. They send it on the boot. Mallala have the numbers, but running onto it here and trying to get something to go fairly. Just snaps it onto his left foot. Sitting underneath it here was Eckerman. Couldn't quite take the mark. The 32s now go at it, and it was well worked there by Baker, moving it through hand. Over the top, Clements couldn't quite take the mark. Now Judd. Good handball across to Redden. Just has to snap around his body and try put it into space. McCabe did well. Inside forward 50, but Tiller with a little bit of room. Just to move it through hands. Whittlesey across the other side of the ground, and well worked by Mallala. They're hunting hard here, Hamley. So Slee over the top, looking for Atkins, but goes over the boundary line off the hands of Ethan Kane. So similar to how the first quarter worked, no team really yet to get too far on the scoreboard here. 5-6-36 to 4 straight behinds. Shahinger knocks it down in front, but not quite going anywhere as Tiller wraps up in a tackle. Couldn't quite take it out of the... was Hennessy. Tiller just moves it across to Tippets. Judd now turns around onto his left boot, but sent that one all the way over the cars, over the boundary line out in the full. So for the last few minutes, it's living in Hamley Bridge's half of the ground. And you watch the way Mallala set up here. They are starting to spread their players across the ground, giving them the opportunity to switch. Eckerman, from about 30 metres out from Hamley Bridge's goal, just looks to clear. Goes long to a one-on-one contest, but Shahinger over the top just punches one ahead. Handball over the top now. Ed McCabe tries to break through a tackle. Back to Judd. Left boot up towards goal. Looking for Fairley. Doesn't quite put it into his advantageous position and goes over the boundary line. So a little bit too much meat on that bone there for Angus Judd. So they go out a defensive 50 once again, and a good mark taken by Charlie Baker. Baker over the top, sees something he likes and stays with it, does Atkins. A little bit of room to go. Trundles the ball up towards their forward 50. Olds quickly wrapping him up in a tackle. So not quite in their forward 50 yet, but Mallala with a little bit of room now. They haven't been up this end for some time as Tippett snaps around on his left boot. Algar sitting underneath it, and Judd does well to move it through hand. Hamley now do the exact same on the outer side. Just fumble the ball a little bit, so they have to clear back to Manuel. Just off one step, clears, and over the top couldn't quite take the mark. Mallala have the numbers here through Tiller. A good tackle there underneath. So 60 metres from Mallala's goal. Olds now in the ruck, knocks it down in front of Clements, but just gets a bad bounce. Redden picking it up and quickly tackled. An opportunity to thank our APFL partners as well: Viswater, Sports Power Zorich Group, Sharon, Belgravia Apparel, Synergy Signs, Mango Inc., McCracken Ford Balaclava, and the Plains Producer as they look to switch the ball across the ground here, Hamley Bridge, but it was risky as Algar takes it. Handballs it off to Heaslip, who finds a little bit of space, but sends one up towards goal, but fades across through for a minor score. And the first score here of the second quarter. 8 minutes gone in this one. 37 plays 4 on the Sportal scoreboard. As they bomb a long ball up the middle of the ground, clears all of them. Shahinger sitting underneath it. McCabe's there. He just picks it up and pops a ball onto his boot. May couldn't quite stay with it. Heaslip's there underneath it after just converting on a behind a moment ago. So Mallala with a 33-point advantage. Over the top. Clements there. Couldn't quite get a clean pick-up as they move the ball out through hand. A little bit of room to work now for Loeffler. Over the top, Fairley, and that's unlucky. Comes off of his boot and goes out of bounds on the full. That is unlucky as you get. So May sends a long ball up now. Pack forming. Underneath it was Redden. Couldn't quite pull down the mark. Quickly wrapped up in a tackle there as Nauman, and just before he got rid of it, umpire blew the whistle, so balled it up once more. Hennessy knocks it down in the ruck. Atkins, little handball out the back. Baker. Couldn't quite get any purchase on the ball, and there's been a whistle here, maybe a little bit of contact afters. So they'll give it back to Baker. And there has been another free here paid. Hennessy over the back, and good mark taken by Manuel. So he'll switch all the way over the other side. So Nick Taylor takes the mark and just gives himself a little bit of time and space. On the right foot all the way down to Zach Fairley. Couldn't quite take the mark. Well defended there by Eckerman. Staying with it though, the Bombers, as eventually it does go over the boundary line. Signs of some good ball movement there for Hamley Bridge. So hurl it back in. Hennessy out of the ruck. Couldn't quite get it anywhere meaningful. Just turning around and pumping it inside forward 50 go the Bombers once more. Judd sitting around this one. Loses his defender, but Judd stays with it and eventually trickling over. So a deep stoppage inside their forward 50 here, Hamley. They've defended well here in this second quarter. They just haven't got the rewards for it. So Heaslip picks it up out of the contest, but sitting underneath it and taking the mark is Ethan Kane. So an opportunity here. He's turned his back on goal. Man on the mark stands at about. He has crept back a few metres, so he's given himself a little bit of room, but stands about 45. So Kane on his way in. Kicked 3 goals for the season. Hasn't quite got the distance. It's going to go close to the goal line. Ball in dispute here. Baker hands it off and gives it off to May. Trying to work onto his right boot. Sends it close to the boundary and eventually going over. Bit of a dispute here as to whether Olds got to it or not. Umpire's having a conversation, but didn't quite get there in time. So Kane, this time a little too far out, sends a ball inside forward 50 and good mark taken by Redden. So same spot here, really. Someone else to have a crack at it. Man on the mark stands at 45 metres. So Redden has kicked 5 goals for the season. Just trots his way towards the paint of 50. Got a little close to the man on the mark and sends it in, but it's all good. Called it a pass as Ash Parsons has taken the mark. Much closer to goal. About 15 metres out. Little bit of an angle, but shouldn't be a problem at all, as Ash Parsons has an opportunity to convert the first here for Hamley Bridge. Right place, right time. Puts it through. First goal for Hamley Bridge here this afternoon on the Sportal scoreboard, coming at the 12-minute mark of the second quarter. But this game's certainly not done. 10 plays 37. They've defended well here in this second quarter. And Parsons kicks his 8th goal for the APFL season in the A grade. He has also got 14 goals in the reserve, so he's a known goal scorer. But back to 27 points. Of course, this is second versus last on the ladder in an 8-team competition, but it doesn't tell the full story. Hamley Bridge have been competitive in many of their games. As I was saying before, I called a game, Hamley Bridge and Mallala, earlier in the season, and actually were down by about 66 points at quarter time. They come back and nearly won. They only lost by about 4 goals or so in the end, but they gave themselves a chance. They are a competitive side, just struggling to finish off games. There's Baker now, and Tippett's working together to try and break through the contest. Inside forward 50, they see Hennessy sitting underneath it. Well done by Manuel just to get the fist away. Hamley still not out of trouble. Trevor gets the tackle off the ground. Hennessy. And just like that, Mallala respond. All that hard work for Hamley comes undone. And brilliant work off the ground. So Mallala back out to a 33-point margin. Just keep him at bay. 43 plays 10 on the Sportal scoreboard. So Hennessy through for his 9th goal of the season. Just a handy proposition when you can have a ruckman that can go up forward and convert you some goals as well. Hasn't played every game this season. So when he can go at about a goal a game, that'll help. As McCabe trying to pick it up underneath. Tiller gets the handball out. Nauman couldn't get any purchase on the ball. Baker sitting underneath it, trying to keep his feet, but quickly tackled by McCabe underneath. That was Zach McCabe. As Olds into the ruck against Shahinga. Knocks it down in front. Nauman finds a little bit of room and breaks the tackle. Inside forward 50 and sitting underneath it, taking the mark. Well done. Was Manuel once again. No doubt has been Hamley Bridge's best in this game so far. Comes up a bit proppy after that. And just trundles the ball up, but didn't get any good purchase on as Baker sits underneath it taking it. And they just trade it right back to Redden. They come out here and they see Shahinga over the top. Couldn't quite take the mark. Had the size advantage over Baker, but Baker had good positioning. Olds just cuts across into the corridor to King. King, a long ball. Now sitting underneath it is McMahon. Good mark. Had the heat closing from the defender and McMahon sitting underneath it. Nearly got his headband ripped off in the process. Goes inside forward 50 now. No player able to get it. Clements picks it up off the bobbling towards goal. As he got it there, Tippett's dribbles it through for a goal. Mallala once again in the right place at the right time. Their last two goals haven't even had to come off hand. And a goal put through there for Mallala, so they extend the margin out once again now to 39 points on the Sportal scoreboard. 49 plays 10. And once again, for all of their hard work, Hamley Bridge in the first few minutes of this quarter really was living up in their forward 50. Really has come undone. So 16 minutes gone. They'll be looking for a goal, of course, very soon. So Braden Tippett with his first goal, but McCabe now out of the middle for Hamley Bridge. Looks for Fairley, couldn't quite take the mark. Judd sitting underneath it, just trundles a handball underneath. Eckerman couldn't quite get the clean pick up. Hamley Bridge stay with it here. Judd now trying to pick it up cleanly, snapping around the body and through for a goal. The second goal here for Hamley Bridge. Well done out of the middle of the ground. And Judd, the captain, a much needed goal for Hamley Bridge, putting it through. So he's got one goal, one here this afternoon. Their second goal of the quarter as well. Back to 33 points on the Sportal scoreboard. And I mentioned before, Judd has kicked a goal in most weeks. I think there's only been a couple games where he hasn't actually converted on an opportunity. It's his 14th goal of the season. Of course, his first of the afternoon. So right back in the middle. After a pretty slow start of this second quarter, it's now turned into a little bit of a goal fest. 2 goals apiece here in this second quarter as Baker composes himself well, sends it across to Nauman, and now King inside forward 50. Looking for the leading worker, Hennessy, and he'll be paid the mark. So I don't know if he signalled a free here at all. We'll pay him the mark. So Hennessy already with a goal here in this second quarter. Didn't do a real lot wrong there, Callum Robinson, as they do chip a ball across and just cut off the angle a little bit here. So it'll give Slee a chance at goal. So Harry Slee yet to kick a goal in season 2025. Of course, the backman. Crosses the paint of 50 from about 48 metres and on its way. Hasn't quite got the distance. In fact, thumps into the goalpost through for a minor score. So 7-8, 50. Plays 2-4, 16 as Hamley Bridge look to play on quickly to the outer side. A long ball down the line, looking for Fairley over the top. Couldn't quite take the mark. He sits out the back of the contest, gets the hands off. Ball's back in dispute here as Heaslip gets the hands out the back. Wild ball off to May. Over the top, and Nauman now breaks out of a tackle. Long high ball up in front of Tippett. Just gave himself a little bit of room leading up at the footy. So straight in front here, have an opportunity at his second goal of the quarter. Looks to waste no time. I have to kick this all of about 50 metres as well, Tippett. Looks like he has the distance covered, no problem at all. In fact, he doesn't. So just thumped through for another minor score. They are peppering the goals here at the moment. Mallala, so 51 plays 16 on the Sportal scoreboard. It's a 35-point margin. Is over the top, not quite taking the mark. Falls to the front of the contest. Wildboar, a nice handball over the top. Algar, Nauman, as he's escorted over the boundary line by Zach McCabe. So hurled back in. Judd off the front of the contest. Thumps a long left hoof up the other end of the ground as Tiller's out the back of the contest. A little ball over to Heaslip, and in fact wasn't paid the mark, didn't quite go the distance, probably should be paid holding the ball. They're filthy over the outer side of the ground there, the Hamley Bridge faithful. They send a ball inside forward 50, and now a one-on-one contest. Slee, in fact it's Whittlesey, the defender here, has to go to work. A good little fist ball out the back to King. Slee now is around it and quickly wrapped up in a tackle. So a goal here would just give him a bit of energy going into the rooms at half-time, Hamley Bridge. Fairly in the ruck. Heaslip couldn't quite get a kick away. Was told he had no prior. Snapping around the body is Fairley. Underneath it, couldn't quite take the mark. Wasn't paid in the end, and Whittlesey tackled. So Ash Parsons been looking dangerous up forward. Hurled in. Wind drifts it across a little bit. Quickly wrapped up in a tackle. So 30 metres from the Bombers' goal. Parsons in the ruck against Olds. Clements just smashed in a tackle by Ed McCabe. So ball goes nowhere for the time being. Out the back of the contest, they hospital ball now inside forward 50, and sitting underneath it was Baker. Good mark. It's a tough mark to take. Over the back looking for Trevor. Brilliant mark as well. Just plays on around the contest. Handball over the top. Oh, now to Heaslip through the middle of the ground. Well intercepted. Well done there by Tom Godfrey. Stayed with it, and now Manuel chips the ball inside, but intercepted by Clements. Across to May, all the way to the outer side. Not quite taking the mark there was Wildboar. Composed to stay with it though. Inside forward 50, and Manuel intercepts on the left peg to Judd. Look corridor initially, but now goes long down the line. Whittlesey out the back. He'll get paid the mark. Had a little bit of contact with hands in the back there, but was fairly soft. So if you're going to pay that, you've got to pay them all. Good kick in front of Trevor leading up at the footy. Slee and back to Trevor. One-on-one contest over the back. Just sends a handball up in the air, and now McCabe looks to go to work through the middle of the ground. Sends a long ball over the top, but it's a bad bounce there for Hamley Bridge. Fairly still amongst it. Working his way back onto the footy there was Campbell Simpson. Now inside forward 50, trying to get his forwards to do the work, and eventually over the boundary line off the hands of Jackson Delina. So back in the forward 50 here for Hamley. Looking for their third goal of the second quarter. They were goalless in the first. As it gets knocked down in front, Tiller trying to get the handball out, but quickly wrapped up in a tackle there was Sam McCabe. So 35 metres from goal here for Hamley. Olds and Fairley will call it a 0-0 draw there in the ruck. May just walks his way out of the contest. Trying to go over the top there to Wildboar. Clears them all. Judd. That's Tom Judd. Couldn't quite get it away, and McMahon now ripping his way through the contest. Picked up well by Godfrey, but King picks it up the back of the contest, fighting for it. I believe that's Algar down there. He's going to work there against his defender. Handballs it off to McMahon. Open into goal. And he's missed. Wow. Had an open look at it. Through for a minor score, so he's been busy, McMahon. But through for a behind. So Mallala now out by 36 on the Sportal scoreboard. 16 plays 52. They've peppered the goals as well. So over the top, finding Kane. Fairly just put it on his boots, but he stays with it fairly. Just needs a clean pick-up now. Eventually gets it, hands it off. McCabe. Over to another McCabe. Now inside forward 50, Redden. Just pops it up in front of Parsons. Has to try and get a clean pick-up and was collected high. So he'll get a shot on goal. So Parsons been busy in this one, like we mentioned before. 8 A-grade goals, including one this afternoon. Just one of the 2 for Hamley Bridge. Gives him a target up forward. Good forward craft there just to keep his head over the footy. Got collected high, so not too sharp of an angle. Just takes his time on his way in. Deliberate approach. Ball does not deviate one little bit as it sails through for a goal. So another one through for Parsons, his second of the afternoon. And a really important goal there for Hamley Bridge, just to keep them somewhat positive going into the halftime break. They've won the quarter, it must be said. So it was 33 points the difference, 32 points the difference, I should say, going into quarter time. So now at 30, that takes some positives as it's 22 to 52 on the Sportal scoreboard. Siren should really go at any moment. Is now at the back of the contest, Nauman, but gets smothered there by Redden. And there's the siren to bring us to half-time, 52 to 22. It was an arm wrestle of a second quarter, but eventually won out by Hamley Bridge. They'd be happy with the work they put in, but now they need a big quarter to really get back into the contest. You're watching Filming Footy live and free. It's the APFL Match of the Round. Welcome back here to Hamley Bridge Oval. The second half about to get underway for these two sides. And Mallala, of course, sitting second on the ladder, Hamley Bridge on the bottom. But it's been a little bit of a tale of two halves here in the first half. In the first quarter, Hamley Bridge went goalless, but kicked 3 to Mallala's 2 there in that second quarter and just swung the momentum a little bit further in their direction. My name's Lewis McKenna. I've got Dino on the camera as well, bringing you all the second half action. And chance to talk about the time that the last time these two sides met was in round 7, and it was a fairly close contest. Mallala getting the win by 22 points, 8-8-56 to 4-10-34. And then last week for Mallala, well, they had a thumping win over Virginia, 18-15, 123 to 3-6-24. It was Tippett with 4 goals, Olds with 3, Algar, Trevor, Morn and McMore with 2 apiece. Nauman, Hennessy and Heaslip each kicking a goal. And Hamley Bridge, well, they were gallant in our game of the week against a Balaclava side that looks like they're shaping for finals. 13-16-94, Balaclava defeated Hamley Bridge 8-12-60. Rosenzweig, Fairley and Redden with 2 apiece. Judd and Kane converting on a goal each. Well, this game at the moment, as I mentioned before, it was 32-point margin at quarter time in favour of Mallala, now down to 30 at half time. It was a competitive second quarter, but the goal scorers so far in this one, McMore is the leading goal scorer for Mallala so far. 2 goals for him, 1 for Tippett, 1 for Clements, 1 for Hennessy, 1 for King, and 1 for Troy Algar as well to round out their goal scorers. And just 2 goal scorers for Hamley Bridge, 2 for Ash Parsons on the afternoon and 1 for Angus Judd, their captain. So, of course, the player of the game will get a pair of Archie's thongs as well, one of our stream partners as well, and super comfortable with the Archie's thongs. And also a filming footy beanie, so they'll be able to keep comfortable on their feet and warm on their head as well. As both these teams warming up, ready to get back underway for the second half. And that does give us a chance to thank our streaming partners as well. Of course, Dartfish, Sportal Scoreboard, Classic Clashes, Filming Footy. Of course, you're watching live and free on Filming Footy. Archie's, as I mentioned, Archie's Thongs, custom by ORTC, High Five E-Bikes and Kimberley Accommodation Group. And the APFL sponsors as well, Viswater, Sports Powers Orange Group, Sharon, Belgravia Apparel, Synergy Signs, Mango Inc., McCracken Ford, Balaclava and the Plains Producer. And an opportunity as well to thank Hamley Bridge's partners here. Of course, we're here at the home ground of Hamley Bridge. It was the location for the 2024 Adelaide Plains Grand Final. Kane Bros, McCabe Adco, Shahinga Motors, Owen Arms Hotel, Maloney and Partners, Porter and Co, Matolo Group, Randall and Taylor, William Buck. Hamley Bridge Hotel was brilliant, by the way. I've been there a few times. Lindock Motors, McCracken Ford, Harcourt Schooler, Ray White Rural, and Hamley Bridge Medical. To name a few, of course, they've got many, many sponsors that help them out and keep them alive. Hamley Bridge, they have certainly, even though they're on the bottom of the ladder, have been competitive in many of their games. Sitting on a reasonably healthy percentage. They've actually got a better percentage than some of the other teams in the league above them. Anglevale just sitting percentage outside of the finals, but they've got a healthier percentage than Anglevale, United, Virginia, to name a few. So, underway here in the third quarter. Who can strike first? You'd feel a goal to Hamley Bridge would get them up and about, but a goal to Mallala would just about put them to sleep. As underneath, diving on top of the footy, called for holding the ball. So, well done by Tippett, just trapping that one underneath. Clements loses the ball and threw it away. So they'll get the free right back. Well done by Ethan Kane. Just chips the ball across to Redden. Good enough to take the mark with wild ball closing. Move it right across the ground. So Taylor. Trundling ball and close to the boundary, but taken just before it got over here for Mallala. So ball over the top. Olds couldn't quite collect it. Godfrey did well to stay with it and move it back through Tom Judd. Over the top and couldn't quite get onto the ball there, Riley Thorne. So trickled over, but Mallala get the free, of course, with last possession. King. Plays on. Goes inside forward 50. Climbing over was Algar. Just over his outstretched hands as Manuel picks it up. Quickly tackled. So 30 metres out from goal here. Olds and Shahinger in the ruck. Olds gets it and moves it out through hand. Wild ball snapping around his body towards goal. Comes off hands. Does go through for a minor score. So even though it did technically go through for a goal, just collecting some fingers on the way through. So 22 plays 53 on the Sportal scoreboard. Mallala out to a 31-point advantage. As they look to retrieve the ball out from behind the goals. So Manuel, long out of defensive 50. Redden in front. Did well, but handballs it over the top and turns it over to Heaslip. Onto his right foot and inside forward 50 to McMaw. Just leading up at the footy was McMaw in the right spot. Lost his defender. And on a fairly short angle, we'll have a chance to roll into goal. Try and convert on his third for the afternoon. Distance shouldn't be too much of a problem. Godfrey on the mark stands at about 40 metres. So McMaw on its way. Looks like it doesn't deviate too much, but just falls across through for a minor score. So another one for McMaw. He's peppered the goals, as have the whole Mallala side. So another one down. So 7-12-54 for them. Certainly could have put this game to bed by now. As Mallala now out to 32 as that ball there not touching anyone and eventually going down under the commentary truck. So tip it right in front of us will get the free. Just pops the ball in front of King, just over his head, but stays with it, King. Snaps around his body towards goal, but just saved before going over. Did well there, Godfrey. And another behind. So 3 straight behinds here for Mallala to get us underway in the third quarter. McCabe takes the mark. Over the top, and Judd finds something laterally. It's a good kick. Declan Redden. Over the top. Trying to find another Redden. Laterally now, Tiller. Mallala get the ball back in the prison bars. A long high ball inside forward 50, waiting for the jumpers. Olds is sitting there underneath it, works his way out the back of the contest and eventually trickles over. So should be a free kick to Mallala and Hamley, and is. Cale Olds trying to claim that it was touched, but it most certainly was not. So Hudson finds Zach McCabe, gets a fist on it out the back of the contest, and now Atkins trying to work his way through. Picking it up there was Riley Thorne. Moves the ball by hand, but fairly intercepts. Inside the corridor now. And sitting underneath it, taking a good mark, was Delena. Now a chance to go inside forward 50. Trying to find someone leading up at the footy, and Parsons. Brilliant kick and a good mark. They get another shot right in front of goal. Doesn't look to pass it off at all. Just Parsons, and this will be his third of the afternoon. Good work through the middle of the ground by Hamley. And the Bombers look to reap the rewards, trying to kick the first goal of this third quarter for either side. So Ash Parsons, man on the mark, stands about 35. Have to kick this about 40 to 45 metres. Had the distance covered earlier in this game, no problem at all. And you can see there exactly what he can do. And just goes through for a minor score. There were a few cries that he'd kicked the goal to start us out, but couldn't quite get it there in the end. So as Mallala quickly move it on the outer side. So 23 to 55 on the Sportal scoreboard, and good mark there from Manuel. Just the right-hand side of the wing. Long ball down the line. looking for the Flyers. Comes off hands, now down in front. Close to the boundary line, but they're able to get a hack out the back of the contest. But on the pain of 50, Whittlesey takes the mark in defence. Across to May, and they switch sides. Over the top to Trevor. He's got some room to go. Plays on quickly. Sees something he likes over the top, and Tiller couldn't quite take the mark. Judd now back onto it, the captain. Does well to stop and prop, but he turns the ball over to Tippett. Sees something inside forward 50 and McMorr, and he juggles and takes the mark. Bad turnovers at the wrong time there for Hamley Bridge. They give the ball back to McMorr. So well done for Mallala just to compose themselves, stay with it. So now rolling in towards goal and just pulling it across once again, McMorr. So can't make the most of their opportunities. Through for a minor score. So now a 34-point advantage for Mallala. What's been an inaccurate day for both of these sides, it must be said. Now over the top, Redden not quite taking the mark. Picking it up, or trying to pick it up was McCabe. Left it for Tiller. Snapping it around his body now. Tippett leading his way up at the footy. Just picks it up and just trundles the ball, but only as far as McCabe. Over the top to the captain in Judd. Sees something in the corridor and goes there now. Shahinger jumping up at the footy, just drew a bit of contact. Plays on quickly and hands it off to Ethan Kane. Just kicks a ball over the top to McCabe, and that should be a downfield free kick. It was a mark anyway. So here's a mark inside forward 50 here for Zach McCabe. Has a fair bit of distance on this one. Hamley just slingshot the ball up the other end of the ground incredibly quickly. Just pops it up into the breeze, has the distance covered, no problem, but another minor score. So both of these sides struggling from in front of the goals here at the moment. 3 goals, 6 plays 7-14. As Mallala play on and they find May. It's a little bit of contact off the ball. Underneath it, McCabe gets a handball out. Kane working his way back onto the football. Now at the back of the contest, moves it through hand to Loeffler. Quickly wrapped up in a tackle, couldn't go anywhere. So just about on centre wing. Don't know what's going on. Oh no. So Shahinger knocks it down to Kane. Maybe picked up a little high there, but no whistle blown. Loeffler in the middle of the ground. Good tackle there on Baker. Out the back, and Trevor with a handball over the top to King. Picked up in the middle by Nauman inside forward 50. Sees something up ahead, and it was a good kick to Hennessy. Good forward craft. And he'll get a set shot right in front of goal. So this ball's been just slingshot from end to end here at the moment, with neither team really able to land a blow. But maybe this is it for Hennessy. Been busy in this game. Pops it straight through for a goal. An important one for Mallala just to stabilise. So now out to a 38-point margin. 62 plays 24. What's been an inaccurate showing for both of these sides. Hennessy pops through his second goal, his 10th of the season. On the Sportal scoreboard, 38-point advantage here for the Magpies. So one thing that will be important for Mallala as well, of course, they sit fairly clear here in second, but you want to just make sure you're building on your percentage every opportunity that you get. They want to keep their foot on the accelerator and just ensure themselves a qualifying final in the first week. As quickly wrapped up in a tackle there is Kane by Cale Olds. Lots of key contributors here this afternoon for Mallala. It's going to make picking the Archies that little bit harder as Kane working his way under the footy. Tiller there underneath. Just trundling a ball out the back of the contest. Ed McCabe picking it up. Couldn't quite get clean possession away. Redden there as well. Tippett moves the ball by hand and now inside forward 50. A one-on-one contest once again. Couldn't quite take the mark this time. Out the back of the contest though, Mallala still with it. Can they stay with it and get a boot? Not quite getting it there, and eventually over the goal line through for a minor score. So rush behind there as they go along, and Baker sits underneath this one. May quickly wrapped up in a tackle. So 63 plays 24 on the Sportal scoreboard. Quick bit of contact in the contest there as May finds some room to roll inside forward 50. Couldn't quite get into the lap of his leading forward in McMahon. And they work the way around through Judd. Takes a bounce, takes another. Doesn't quite know where to go, so he moves it through hand. And intercepted. So Trevor takes a bounce of his own. Inside forward 50. Out the back of the contest is Hudson, but Tippett, he'll roll into goal. As easy as you like for Mallala. Another goal on the board. They just capitalise on some sloppy turnover there from Hamley Bridge. Now out to a 45-point margin. Brilliant work there from Tippett. His second goal as well. So 3 players now with multiple goals for Mallala. 2 for Tippett, 2 for McMahon, 2 for Will Hennessy as well. Single goal scorers are Troy Algar, Jordan Clements and Dale King. So they just continue to pile it on. So 69 plays 24 now as Olds couldn't quite get the tap on it. McCabe with a handball over the top. And Judd now streaming inside forward 50. Good kick. Standing in space was McCabe. So Henry McCabe will get an easy shot at goal from right in front. It was brilliant work from Judd as well, must be mentioned. It stands out as to why he's a league representative. Previously represented the Central Zone as well in the country championships. But Henry McCabe trying to kick his first of the afternoon, trying to kick the first goal of this third quarter for Hamley Bridge. Pops it through as easy as you like, so just a little bit of a response there for Hamley. They kick their 4th goal of the afternoon. And McCabe through for his first. His 9th of the season, Henry McCabe. Just been competitive in moments here, Hamley Bridge, but how they respond right after kicking a goal is important as well. Shahinger knocks it down in front. He slips there underneath it, as is Zach McCabe. And he fended off a couple, and Zach McCabe sitting on the ground was good enough to still tackle him and get rewarded with a free kick. Just kicks a ball over the top and marked by Declan Redden. Just wants to send one long inside forward 50 now to the top of the square. Allows the Leapers to do the work in fairly, but couldn't quite get it anywhere. Move it back through Ed McCabe, snapping around his body as he got the distance on it. Touched through for a behind. So they're threatening in front of goal now, Hamley Bridge, in the last few minutes. As they play on quickly through Clements. It's a 38-point margin here for Mallala at the moment, as now on the outer side. Just looking for anything, Mallala, just to try and lock it back at their end of the ground. Go long down the line. Shahinger sitting underneath this one, takes an easy mark. Goes to a one-on-one contest down the line. Did well there, Simpson, and just got the hands off to Henry McCabe now inside forward 50. Fairly picks it up off his shoelaces, snaps around his body towards goal, and through for a minor score. So peppering the goals here at the moment, both sides. Fairly hasn't kicked a goal here today after he has converted on a goal in every single game this season. So you'd expect it to come at some point. So Mallala with a little bit of room now. Olds, a long ball down the line. Godfrey and Tiller now in a one-on-one contest. Neither player able to really win it out and get any meaningful possession. Now wrapped up underneath is Atkins underneath the contest. So they'll go back in the ruck here. Shahinger gets the fist out the back. Just trying to trundle the ball up. Well defended there in the middle by Baker. But able to get the clearance was Nick Taylor. And a good kick in the end. Marked by McCabe. Henry, that is. Guarded well on the line there by Whittlesey. Inside forward 50. Just has to get the kick away towards goal. Gets it there. Through for a goal is Tyler Simons. So they respond once again. It's his first goal of the season in the A grade as well. So brilliant response for Hamley Bridge. And they convert yet again back to 31 points. So they just have a way of hanging in there. 38 plays 69 on the Sportal scoreboard. 17 and a half minutes gone in this one. So Shahinger takes it out of the ruck. Tries to move it through hand, and there has been a free kick paid here against Shahinger. Atkins now bombs a long ball up inside forward 50 looking for Algar. Hudson does well to knock it down to ground. Tippett's with a tackle, but got trundled out the back of the contest. So to be balled up here around 40 metres out from goal. Hennessy just knocks it out the back. Extra handball off to Heaslip, rolling into goal. Pitcher, perfect footy from Mallala inside forward 50. They respond straight away through a goal from Jack Heaslip. And they once again draw the margin back out again. It's just been sitting in the 30s for quite some time. Neither side really letting up too much. But the fourth goal of the season, the first for the afternoon for Jack Heaslip. He's been named in the best 7 times this season. And he's just a really important player. Plays a little bit up forward, a little bit out of the middle, a little bit on the wing. But important there for Mallala now out to that 37-point advantage. I mentioned a moment ago, it's been in the 30s for some time. In fact, since the 12-minute mark of the second quarter, it's been around that similar range where it was 27 points. So around the body, in front here, over the head of Kane, but Olds is there underneath it, hands it off to Tiller. And sees something out the back through Tippett. Tippett now plays on, and it's a smart kick into the corridor. Kick over the top now, looking for Algar. Out the back is Baker, so he's going to be first onto the ball here. Has a crack at goals. Has he got it through? No, just hugs the goalpost through for a minor score. So they've had their opportunities, Mallala, to really blow this out. Now 10-16. 76 plays 5-8-38. Both teams have left a little bit to be desired. So Manuel, a long ball out of the defensive goal square, out the back of the contest. Shahinger and Judd. Judd has to pump one back into the middle of the contest as Kane is onto it. Just puts one into the middle of Hamley Bridge Oval. Whittlesey picking it up, but there's been a free kick paid. Going the way of the Magpies. Kick over the top, and leading up at the footy was Algar. Hands it off quickly. Slee now, rolling into goal. Long ball up towards, couldn't quite get it through, so through for a minor score once again. 77 plays 38. As they look to play on quickly and marked by Judd. So game high 39-point margin here. And it's a good kick in the end, marked by Kane. Over the back was Trevor, couldn't quite take the mark, so him and Heaslip will work their way onto the footy. Heaslip Getting tackled holding the ball. So Godfrey across the ground. Trevor getting his hands on it. Slee, handball over the top, and Trevor with a little bit of space. Turns around and hacks it onto his left foot, inside forward 50, but sitting underneath it was Manuel. Plays on quickly through Kane, through the corridor. Chips it across the ground and marked by Declan Redden. To switch right across to the far side. Couldn't quite pick it up, Henry McCabe. Austin Redden there underneath it, but maybe a little bit of contact there on the head of Jesse Trevor. 22 minutes gone in this third quarter. I think there'll be about 4 or 5 minutes left in this one. As Tiller is barking for the ball in the middle of the ground, but they look to switch it right across to Olds. As composed as you like, stays with it and takes the mark. Just switches it back to the other side, to Eckerman. Has Slee on short, and just switches back to Olds once again, but couldn't quite take the mark. He's got a little bit of room to move. Tries to work his way around McCabe and does. Maybe just got a handball away. They're able to stay with it here. Have to snap around their body towards goal. Had a little bit more room than that, but they have put it through. Brilliant work by Hamley Bridge just to cause the turnover, and Sam McCabe is the beneficiary. And another goal here for Hamley. So they're putting the score on the board. And now back to 33 points in favour of Mallala. Just keeping at arm's bay, but they can pop on a couple more goals, especially late here. And who knows what can happen. As Sam McCabe in for his 14th goal of the season. His first of the afternoon. 23 and a half minutes gone in this third quarter. We thank you for joining us on your Saturday afternoon for APFL. You stayed home in the heating, completely understood, as Ed McCabe and Judd work together. And here go Hamley Bridge once again. The Bombers surging their way inside forward 50 as Eckerman falls back trying to take the mark. Quickly wrapped up in a tackle about 53 metres out from goal here, the Bombers. So it'll be hurled back up. So Olds and Fairley to go at it in the ruck. Olds knocks it out the back of the contest. Neither player able to get the ball, and it'll be hurled back in. Important couple minutes here for Hamley if they want to get back in the contest. Olds handballs it back to Eckerman in a dangerous position. Have to be composed than they are to Trevor. So Trevor, a good ball user as well. Been one of their best today for Mallala as well. I've been impressed with Jesse Trevor. Sends a long high ball up the wing. Out the back, Shahinger couldn't quite take the mark. McMaugh gets the handball out, but Redden now with some space. Pops it over the top and over the outstretched hands of Sam McCabe. As Mallala now through the middle of the ground. A hacker ball out. King working his way up at it, as is Clements. Now King snaps it on his left boot. Inside forward 50. Wild ball not able to take the mark. Ball now back in dispute. Hudson's there underneath it, trying to get the handball out, and eventually does. Cleared away by Loeffler. So Whittlesey, handball over the top, and Mallala look to try and get back inside forward 50. Fairley just hacks it off the ground, and Cale Olds has a paddock to work with here once he gets onto the footy. Quickly closing is Henry McCabe. Slee. And good kick up to Whittlesey. They come into the middle of the ground now through Tiller. Now a little wider out to Baker. Gets it on the bounce. Baker now plays on inside forward 50. Finds something he likes in Clements. Brilliant work going inside forward 50. They've been impressive, Hamley Bridge, in this third quarter, but Mallala, good composure there. Work their way across the ground. Bite off the angle, and now in front of goal. Clements to try and convert on his second of the afternoon. Pretty well straight in front. We'll have to kick it about 45 metres. On its way, Looks like it's not deviating one little bit. Through for a goal, Jordan Clements. 12 for the season. And an important one there for Mallala to get him back out to a comfortable 39-point margin. And what's been a high-scoring game for Mallala, they could have had a much higher score given the way that they've converted in front of goal. But now out by 39 points, 11-17, I should say, 83 to 6-8-44 on the Sportal scoreboard. Siren should really go at any moment as well. Just shy of 27 minutes gone in this one. So, knockdown in front once again. Moving the ball out through hand. McCabe works his way around and eventually gets another handball out. But good tackling pressure from the Magpies. And another good tackle laid there by Shahinger. So, unless they're able to get their way inside forward 50, either of these sides here, you'd expect the siren to go any moment, as it looks as if there's been a free paid in the ruck to the Bombers. Inside forward 50, looking for someone to jump up at the footy. It was Redden. In fact, it was Fairley. Couldn't quite take it. Out the back of the contest now. Underneath it, maybe collected a little high. Coming back out to McCabe. They move the ball out through hand now. Trying to work their way through the contest. He slipped with a good tackle. In fact, actually, that was Whittlesey. So, well done by Mallala just to stop any threatening of a goal there. So long down the line. McMahon jumping up at the footy, but Shahinger taking the mark. Has been good in this third quarter. Over the top to Judd. Juggling and eventually taking it. Comes into the middle of the ground over the head of Godfrey, but he's got a bit of room to get back onto the footy. In fact, he's intercepted by Baker. Hands it off to Trevor, but that's the siren for the third quarter. An entertaining third quarter, it must be said as well. Mallala just outscoring Hamley Bridge, but since quarter time, it's been a really entertaining arm wrestle of a contest. You're watching the APFL match of the round between Hamley Bridge and Mallala live on Filming Footy. The fourth quarter coming right up. Welcome back to Hamley Bridge Oval for the match of the round here between Hamley Bridge and Mallala. What's been an interesting contest. Really, it was the first quarter that has decided the difference in this one. It was at quarter time, Mallala taking a lead of 32 points in to that second quarter. They didn't kick a goal, Hamley Bridge, in that first quarter. It was 36-4. Then they started to build their way back into the contest. They got it down to 27 points at one stage, but really since then, it's been living around that 30-40 mark. Currently in front by 39 points, Mallala in a comfortable position going into this last quarter. Some of the players for Hamley Bridge can certainly hold their heads high. Some of the regular offenders for them, Angus Judd has been really impressive. Ed McCabe, as well as just about all the McCabes really, have been really good. Shahinger was really good there in that third quarter. And the goal kickers so far for Hamley are Ash Parsons with 2 goals, 1 for Henry McCabe, 1 for Sam McCabe, 1 for Angus Judd, and 1 for Tyler Simons as well. It was his first goal in the A grade this season as well. And then Mallala, well, I've had goal kickers galore. Hennessy, Clements, Tippett, McMaw with 2 apiece, and 1 each for King, Heaslip and Algar. So 1 quarter left to play out. Percentage still relatively important here for Mallala, currently sitting second on the ladder. He'd find it, they probably won't chase down 2 wells as they're yet to lose a game, but still want to continue on their winning form here, Mallala, as Trevor takes the mark in front, and one of their best here this afternoon. Goes inside forward 50 and couldn't quite find Olds over the back. Has plenty of bombers around him as Manuel eventually escorts it over the boundary line. So boundary to hurl it back in. Olds knocks it down in front. Atkins comes crashing through the front of the contest. Kane, though, a little bit of room out the back to send it on its way. So Baker, handball out the back, Whittlesey, and all the way across to the other side. So mark taken by Slee. So Slee goes right across the other side of the ground and into the lap of Thorne. Thorne just goes laterally to Slee. It was a dangerous kick, but executed well. Whittlesey has players closing. Did well there to intercept Nick Taylor. Fairly inside forward 50. Parsons leading up at the footy. Henry McCabe couldn't quite get the clean pick up. Maybe drew a little bit of contact head high, but executed well in the end by Josh May. So dangerous position here, just taken out of the ruck by Hennessy. Sends a torp out of the defensive 50. Ball back in dispute. Trevor just soccers it out from underneath the pack. Shahinger sitting underneath it, has to try and get the handball out. Called play on. Mallala thought it should have been called holding the ball. Judd, a bullet of a kick to the outer side. Just couldn't quite hit the chest of Delena. In fact, it did, but just a little bit too hard. Stays with it, though, Jackson Delena. A handball over the top to Redden. Just goes inside forward 50. In fact, just trundles the ball around. He stays with it. Really good pickup as well, snapping around his body. Couldn't quite get it to anyone just yet, though. Ball back in dispute here. Deep inside forward 50 now. Redden snapping around once more. And Baker sitting underneath it. They set up so well, Mallala. Now across to Heaslip. Has Tippett short. Goes there now. So Tippett goes high and long. Centre wing. Working his way up to the footy was Manuel. But through hands over the boundary line. Thank you to our streaming partners, of course, making it possible to bring today's game to you. Dartfish, of course, filming footy, watching live and free there. Sportal Scoreboard, of course, Classic Clashes, Archies, and the player of the game will win a pair of Archies as well. And a custom by ORTC, filming footy beanie. Kimberley Accommodation Group, of course, as well as Kane. Now hands it off to Judd. A little bit of room to roll inside forward 50. That's a long high ball. Has he got the distance covered? He does have it covered, but through for a minor score. So he's got a long boot on him, Judd. But another behind there for Hamley, so they moved to 6-9-45, back to 38 points. So the first score of this fourth quarter. As Slee plays on, sent a little bit too far into the truck here, into the scoreboard. So they'll hand the ball back to Hamley Bridge. So Taylor right in front of the commentary truck. Will go long. About 25 metres out, dangerous position, good mark. Wasn't paid in the end. I thought he had all of that fairly, but wasn't to be called. Slee now close to the boundary. Takes a bounce, audaciously moves the ball through hand. Now King. Long ball to the outer side, and it's a good switching kick to Wildboar. The Mallala under 17 and the Woodville West Torrens under 16 player. Good kick to Trevor. Over the top to Tippett. Now across to Wildboar, who's got a bit of room to go. Sends the ball up to Tiller. Well defended in the end by Godfrey. And gives a chance to Hudson to work his way back onto the ball. And just switches the ball across to Taylor. They now go back the other way. Manuel. And all the way across. Over the top to Judd. Plays on. He's got a big boot on him, does Angus Judd. Out the back, and Whittlesey takes the mark. So just cleared all the heads. Heaslip across to Slee. So they work the switch well over the top. Hennessy has kicked a couple goals here this afternoon. Heaslip's been really impressive as well. Slee back to Heaslip. Can't quite find anywhere to go in the middle of the ground, so they have to come back to Hennessy. Sees someone leading up in the footy, and McMorr got it right to him into his lap, but couldn't quite finish off the mark. Manuel there underneath, comes out the back of the contest. Good pick up there by Baker. Hands it off to Tiller going inside forward 50. Good mark. Good ball movement there from Mallala as Cale Olds now gets an opportunity to convert on his first goal of the afternoon. 10 goals on the season. Named in the best players 6 times, but it's probably not generous enough for the sort of player he is. Obviously plays a little bit of everywhere up forward in the ruck. Plays as just an extra midfielder. So from about 35, converts on the goal. So an important goal there just to really put the game to bed for Mallala. Now out to a 44-point advantage. They now move to 12-17-89 to 6-9-45. And Olds with his first goal. His 11th of the season. You see they're 89, but they really could have put it to bed. They've been inaccurate in front of goals. There's a lot of behinds in this one. So now quickly, Hennessy goes back inside forward 50. Algar underneath it. Couldn't quite convert. King flicks it out wide. Out the back of the contest. Oh, and a big tackle there from King, and it's on. There's a bit of a sling tackle motion on Manuel. As it went over the boundary line. There was no free kick paid. In fact, now the umpire comes back around and says there will be a free kick, so probably rightfully so for that action. Manuel now in the middle of the ground. Henry McCabe underneath it. Clement's nearly picking it away. He slips amongst it. Trevor maybe collected a little high. Umpire will come around and say, no, ball it up. Just inside the paint of 50. Shahinger knocks it down. Redden there. He's tackled, and there's been another whistle blown, maybe getting hung on to just before he got the footy. So Declan Redden will get the ball back. So it goes right up the middle of the ground to a one-on-one contest. Heaslip out the back. He's been really impressive as Heaslip. Across to Hennessy. Goes long down the line. Sitting underneath it was Judd. Drew a little bit of contact in the back, and that should be a free kick. Drawing the contact from Algar. Goes further down the line. Fairly over the top. Good grab. Been quiet up in the forward line. Hasn't had too many opportunities, but he's worked his way up the ground well. There's a good mark out the back there for May to intercept. Called a couple of his games so far this year. He does so much of that. Just comes across the ground and didn't quite go the distance, so they work together, DeMay and Thorne. Smothered there inside, so it'll stay inside forward 50 here for Hamley. Handball over the top. They have a chance to stream in towards goal. Redden has to snap around his body. It was a low percentage kick. Through for a minor score, so not quite what they wanted out of that situation there, Hamley. As they play on now. So May over the back, and good mark taken by Baker. And a good kick as well to King. Just executing their possessions here at the moment, Mallala. King finds, that's a brilliant kick to McMahon. Plays on quickly inside forward 50. Jesse Trevor, contender for the player of the game is Trevor. Hasn't kicked a goal yet this afternoon. This could definitely help his case. And this to extend it to a game high 49 points if he can convert on this opportunity. 12 goals on the season. Been named in the best players 5 times. So, Trevor should get a really good look at this one. Splits the middle, no problem at all for Jesse Trevor. Another goal scorer down for Mallala. They look like they're going to break the 100 mark comfortably as they inflict a little bit more pain here on Hamley Bridge. And definitely, I think, my front runner for the Archie Songs player of the game. We'll also walk away with a filming footy beanie if he can, unless there's anything crazy that jumps out. Heaslip's also been really impressive as well in this contest. Clements was probably the best player in the first quarter, but hasn't had to do a real lot since then. So, just shy of 12 minutes gone in this final quarter. Watching live and free on filming footy. Knocks it down, and now Clements is onto it. Moves it out wide and just into a little bit of space, allows the runners to get onto it. Trevor now, once again, and that's going to be a legal disposal, so good tackle there by Judd. Plays on quickly. Through the hands of Fairley, well done there by Tiller to just thwart it away. Trying to hack it off the ground, landing on top of the footy. That's got to hurt. Snaps around his body towards goal and goes out of bounds on the full. So I'll give the ball back to Mallala. So tricky kick. Had to bite off a interesting kick there after going out of bounds on the full. And Fairley now gets an opportunity to try and convert on his first goal of the afternoon. A pretty easy set shot from about 30 metres, not too much angle to speak of. So as I mentioned before, a goal in every game for Zach Fairley, 19 for the season. Hasn't really had a massive bag throughout the year, but just consistent. Does it week in, week out, and converts on his opportunity there. So through for a goal, his 20th. I think that has him just inside the top 10 for goal scorers in the APFL this year. And they've been competitive in moments here, Hamley Bridge. 52 plays 95. So, fairly through for a goal and back to 43 points. They stay with it. So back in the middle, umpire to ball it back up. Cheers, boys. So back in the middle and going inside forward 50 once again. And maybe a little bit of a shove in the back there it was. So Campbell Simpson, the under 17. Here's Judd coming from behind from 55. On its way. Has he got it straight? He hasn't. So through for a minor score. You give Judd a chance anywhere from within 60 metres. So back to 42 points, the margin for Mallala. Slee. Clements and across to Tippett. Goes long down the line, looking for Olds in front and takes a good mark. Had Godfrey hanging off of him. In fact, that was Robinson. So King all the way to the outer side. And look how quickly they switch the ball. They move the ball off quickly through hands and now looking for Algar out the back. Hudson did well. Won the contest. Hacks it around his body now looking for Trevor. Sitting underneath the pack and Godfrey wrapped up in a tackle. So Shahinger knocks it down. Atkins quickly wrapped in a tackle there and wasn't allowed to go anywhere. Olds just rips it out of the contest. Trundles a little ball a little closer to goal. Going to go close to the boundary though. Algar picks it up before it can get there and Manuel saves the day. Rushes it through for a behind. So 96 plays 53 now as Hamley look to move it through Kane through the middle of the ground. Has to try and balk around. Eckerman did well to put a stop to it. Just got a handball away as Clements moves it back. A Hennessy and all the way out eventually to Tiller. Inside forward 50 looking for McMorr out the back. Did well there. I think that was Manuel once again around it. Baker inside forward 50. Trevor's there underneath it but Shahinger good enough to move it out through McCabe. Now over to Redden. Just chips the ball over the top to McCabe. Sam McCabe, that is a goal scorer earlier in this game. So it looks to go long. Redden sitting underneath this one. Nilly brought it to ground. Slee, handball over the top to Hennessy. It's going to go close to the boundary, but they stay with it. Long ball down the line through the hands of McMorr. Olds is onto it. Robinson's there as well, as is Godfrey. So picks it up and rips through the contest into the middle of the ground, but Eckerman left unmanned. Eckerman plays on quickly, goes long to the outer side through hands and a little bit of contact there coming for Cale Old. So he gets the free kick. As Jesse Trevor rolling past. Wants the lead instead of Algar and gets it. So this one's straight in front for Troy Algar. Had a really busy first quarter with 1 goal too. Hasn't seen much of it since. A lot of the other forwards and midfielders getting involved instead. And this one from straight in front. To break the 100 mark in what's been still a fairly inaccurate day for Mallala, but still putting the scoreboard pressure on. Just pulls it across, but he's through for another minor score for Algar. So 97 plays 53 on the Sportal scoreboard. As they go right down the middle of the ground, looking for McCabe, but over the back was Olds. Sees a couple options to his right-hand side. Hennessy on his left boot. Goes inside forward 50 to Tippett. So I think he's a little too far out the score, but I mean he is. So just lowers his eyes, sees King out in front of himself and takes a mark. Dale King just juggling. The only thing that really knocked it out of his hands was the ground. Maybe a few questions being asked as to whether it should have been paid a mark or not, but I'll pay it to him. So Dale King already with a goal here this afternoon. A bit of a tight angle, but the right side for a right footer. So on his way in. Starts it out to the left, and that's where it'll finish. So another minor score here for Mallala, 13-20. Just not converting on all of their opportunities. King through for a behind, so out to a 45-point margin, I should say. Game high come earlier in this quarter with 49 points. As comes off the hands of Olds and Shaheen are going at it. Olds a brilliant, pretty turn out of the contest, moves it through hands. Now through the middle is Nauman. But the Bombers get it back and they pump it inside forward 50. They're waiting for the bounce. Fairly there underneath it. Eventually gets it on the second opportunity. Just sends a high ball out in front of Delina. Has to walk his way onto the footy. Still has a bit of space to work with. Snaps around his body towards goal. Has he put that through? I think he has. What a goal. From the boundary, if you don't mind. The game might be gone for Hamley Bridge, but you'll be liking looking up that highlight later on. Snaps around his body. And that's the goal of the day, no doubt about it. His 15th of the season, first of the afternoon for Delina. And that is a brilliant goal from the boundary. Brings it back to 39 points in a game that will frustrate Hamley Bridge a little bit, as they've really only trailing by about a goal since quarter time. They've been well and truly in this contest since then, but it was a goalless first quarter that really took the game away from them from the outset. Heaslip couldn't quite get any meaningful possession as Redden just hacks it off the ground. Quickly onto it. Did well with Simpson. Just a little ball inside. Eckerman not quite taking the mark. Chased quickly by McCabe. Has Redden around him as well. Loses the ball. Simpson there underneath it. Just trundles the ball out the back of the contest. Delina once again just bending one around his body through for a minor score. So back to 38 points here for Mallala. 60 plays 98. Clements falling back, couldn't quite take the mark. Handballs it off to Trevor, who's going to take a bounce. And another. Handball over the top, and now to McMorr. Nauman breaks through a tackle. There's Trevor once again from the paint of 50. Goes up towards goal. Wait for the bounce. Hasn't quite got it there, so a minor score. End-to-end footy there for Mallala. Just couldn't quite get the finish. So Henry McCabe. And Clements with a fist down in front. Quickly wrapped up in a tackle. So entertaining game for both of these teams. Once again, they'd be really disappointed with that first quarter, because aside from that, it's really been that arm wrestle and a respectable performance here, as a free kick's been paid here to Hamley Bridge. Atkins couldn't quite get rid of it. Kick over the top is a dangerous one, but marked well by Henry McCabe. Plays on quickly. It's a one-on-one inside forward 50. Did well there to bring it to ground. Baker picks it up cleanly off of his boots. Has a few Bombers surrounding him and has to just hack it out. Picked up well by Fairley now. Rolling into goal and pops it on the boot. Just fades across to the right-hand side through for a minor score. So the inaccuracy continues. 8-13 to 13-21. What could have been a monster score for really both of these teams. Weather obviously not a problem here today. So kick over the top and mark taken by Riley Thorne. Goes laterally across the ground to King. Looks to play on quickly, sees an option. And gets it there eventually through Tiller. Whittlesey. Tackle well there by Ethan Kane. They go further down the line. Trevor sitting underneath it, but eventually knocked over. Did well there, Nick Taylor, to defend. So Shahinger knocks it down out the back of the contest. Baker is onto it first. King a handball across, and Tiller. A long high ball. Trying to sit underneath it, but out the back of the contest. Godfrey with a nice tackle. Just gets now into the ground, and a little bit of a push and shove afterwards as well. So Atkins going up in the ruck against Redden, working as that extra midfielder as well. Heaslip quickly gets tackled after trying to fend off, but umpire will ball it up once more. So Redden knocks it down, and Heaslip. So snaps it around Nauman now. So all the way around. And a good mark taken on the outer side. So over the top, Shahinger falling to the ground and diving forward to take the mark. All the way across, and Redden stays with it, with Baker closing. Had an option short, and Simpson decides to go a little further up the ground to Fairley through hands. Comes out the back of the contest and not quite able to be saved before trundling over the boundary line. 30 metres out from goal. So final siren should really blow at any moment. Tiller just works his way out of defensive 50. Judd sitting underneath this one, trying to pick it up, but got swarmed by some Magpies. Trevor picks it up and they move it through hand now. King goes long up towards Algar. He's a one-on-one here against Hudson, but he'll be credited the mark. Well done by Troy Algar. Hands it off quickly. Nauman, he would have had an opportunity on goal. That's the final siren. In the end, a 38-point victory to Mallala, 13-21 to 8-13. So both sides quite inaccurate in this one. But since quarter time, it was really an arm wrestle. It was just all about that first quarter. First quarter break, Mallala went in with a 32-point margin. And really only won the final three quarters by one goal. I'll have to wrap up fairly quick. I'm going to go get my player of the game, and I will be awarding it to Jack Heaslip. Jesse Trevor. I'll be awarding it to Jesse Trevor. He was quite impressive in this one as well. So I'll go catch him. So hang with us. We'll have the presentation for the player of the round, the player of the game. G'day footy fans, Lewis McKenna here for Filming Footy. We've got our player of the game, Jesse Trevor. It was a 38-point win in the end for Mallala. They got the jump in the first quarter. They led by 32 points at quarter time, but really it was a bit of an arm wrestle after that, mate.
Yeah, it was. They put up a really good fight. We knew they were going to today, so we know they're not as high on the ladder as us, but their percentage is really good, so they always put up a fight.
You had a fair bit of the footy as well, mate. Got to convert on a goal there in the last quarter as well. You'd be pretty happy with your work?
Yeah, pretty stoked. Lately been going pretty well, but all credit to my teammates. They get me the ball and got delivered to me on a platter down there, so thanks to Liam for that one. So, yeah.
Absolutely it did, mate. Well, I think you've won 9 of your last 10 or something like that. Of course, you've got the Roosters just ahead of you, but, obviously the grand final this year, you don't want to think too far ahead, is at Mallala, but that's something that you guys will be eyeing off now, sitting pretty in second spot.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we're trying to work towards. They knocked us off 2 years ago in the grand final, so we're trying to work our way back there, and we feel like we've got a really strong team and we're really connected as a group, so I think we've got a great chance this year.
Well, it helps when the Rezzies as well are first on the ladder as well, and they got a good, comfortable win today by 60-odd points too, so the club's going well. Yeah,
no, definitely, and shows the strength we have as a club, and from the Rezzies that come up, they put on a dominant display in the A grade as well, so it just shows how well we are, and looking forward into the future with this club. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be covering all the grand finals as well for Filming Footy, including the 17s reserves and the A grade. No doubt Mallala will have a good chance at getting there as well as the final starts in a couple of weeks. Well, Jesse, you've won some Archie's thongs and a Filming Footy beaning by Custom ORTC. Thank you very much, our player of the game, Jesse Trevor, and thank you for watching Filming Footy. My name's Lewis McKenna, Dino on the camera. It's been a lot of fun. Cheers, mate.
Thank you. Thanks
Go
very
sing
much.
the song. Cheers.
It wasn't my end.
No.
I don't think it was. It may have been the Starlink because it did say it was good for streaming, but not good